Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Michelle Rizzo.
And this is Northwest Brew Talk. Welcome to Northwest Brew Talk, the #1 podcast on Washington beer, brought to you by Micro Homebrew, located in Kenmore. This is Big Ol' episode number 70.
Woohoo!
Each and every week, we promote the Washington brewing industry by talking to those people involved and drinking Washington beer. If you like to drink Washington beer, learn about the people behind it here on our show. With over 300 breweries, we try to highlight as many as possible every episode. If you're new to the show, we suggest you check out our back catalog with some great interviews and lots of Washington beer. This week on the Micro Homebrew interview, we talk with Lumberjack Brewing and Lopez Island Brewing. We also have our brew news and music from Gilbert Neal.
If you've got comments or questions, feel free to send us an email to nwbrewtalk@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at nwbrewtalk or on Facebook at facebook.com/nwbrewtalk. If you like the show and want to support us, share our link and tell your friends on social media. It takes just a few to start a revolution.
Hail revolution!
To start the show, let's open up our first beer. It was gifted to us by Sumerian Brewing in Woodinville. Thank you very much, Sumerian. They're open 7 days a week for $21 and over only. You can listen to our interview with them on episode 65. We're drinking their Lucidity Pilsner, this classic bohemian Czech-style Pilsner. Rich, complex maltiness using only German malts combined with a pronounced yet soft and rounded bitterness and spicy flavor from Saaz and Tettnanger hops create a crisp, complex, and well-rounded yet refreshing beer. 4.5% ABV, 35 IBUs, and an untapped rating of 3.49.
Okay, this is very light in color.
Definitely light colored.
Nice little head on it. It's got a nice smell to it.
Yeah, it does. Very malty flavored.
Oh, yeah, very malty. Wow. Wow. That's good. That's good. Yeah, that.
Yeah, definitely like that a lot.
Yeah, a lot of malt in there. There's the hops are minimal there. There's no bite at all.
Yeah, no bitterness is very low.
But that's got a nice flavor.
Yep.
That's got a nice. You can drink some of those.
Yeah, it's only 4.5% ABV. So.
Yeah, I do like that though. Nice. All right. And that's a good start to our show. And now, on to this week's Brew News.
One of the most interesting stories to come out in the past few weeks is from China, where archaeologists from Stanford University unearthed what they think is an ancient brewery. They found 2 pits with beer-making equipment that included funnels, pots, and amphorae holding the residue of what was probably a 5,000-year-old beer. Quote, the shapes and styles of the vessel show stylistic similarities to the brewing equipment in the historical period, modern ethnogenic records, unquote, said study co-author Jiajing Wang. The archaeologists believe the pits would have acted like an ancient cooler, helping in the beer-making process and with storage. Tests of the yellow residue show the presence of barley, broomcorn millet, tubers, and jobsteers, also known as Chinese pearl barley or koi seed, which were fermented together to make what probably would have been a sweet and sour kind of brew. Beer, the researchers argue, may have contributed to the emergence of hierarchical studies, unquote. In other words, it may have been one of the driving forces behind the development of sophisticated cultures in an area known as the cradle of Chinese civilization.
Growler Garage in Olympia will be celebrating their first anniversary with giveaways, specials, and more on Saturday, June 25th from 12 to 10 p.m. If we get more information, we'll pass that along. Hop Breeding Company, the joint venture between the John Haas and Select Botanicals Group breeding program, has released HBC 291 to be marketed as Laurel. Along with Citra and Mosaic, 2 popular beer hops, they are part of Hop Breeding Company's hop portfolio. Laurel, or L'Oreal, I'm guessing it's Laurel, hop brand hops have a noble heritage that straddles the fence between old and new world hop aromatics and are truly complementary to all styles of beer. Laurel has been described as very pleasant with a floral, citrus, peppery aroma, along with some dark fruit character. Select Botanicals Group LLC was started in the late 1980s as Yakima Chief Ranches by the Carpenter, Smith, and Perot families, and John I. Haas, Inc. was founded in 1914. They own and operate their own hop farms, warehouses, pellet, and extraction plants in the Northwest.
Our book, Washington Beer, is now available. You will also find us at the Washington Brewers Festival Father's Day weekend, signing books and promoting Northwest Brew Talk. We'll also be in Tacoma on July 19th and Spokane August 6th with more information and locations soon. If you're interested in carrying the book or hosting an event, contact us today. The biggest beer festival in Washington, the Washington Brewers Festival, takes place on Father's Day weekend, June 17th through the 19th. The 11th annual event will feature more than 500 beers from 110 Washington breweries. Held at Marymore Park in King County, this 3-day event features beer, food trucks, live music, the results of the Washington Beer Awards, and the infamous keg toss. The Friday event is over 21, but Saturday and Sunday are all ages. The inaugural Washington Beer 5K will take place on Sunday morning, June 19th.
Ghostfish Brewing Company recently signed with 3 distribution companies to distribute its award-winning ales through Western Washington. These 3 companies, the Odom Corporation, Marine View Beverage, and Sound Beverage Distributors, collaborate as members of the Great Artisan Beverages Company, or GAB. GAB is a wholesaler network covering multiple states with a vision to market and sell leading craft and specialty beverage products. And lastly this week, Pike Brewing has a new contest, the iconic Seattle Weekend Photo Contest. Simply snap and share a photo of Pike Space Needle IPA in your favorite places between now and September 6th and tag it with hashtag Space Needle IPA to be entered. The grand prize winner gets a 2-night stay at the luxurious Inn at the Market, dinner for 2 at the Space Needle Sky City restaurant, and a behind-the-scenes brewery tour, tasting, and lunch at Pike Brewing Company. Get all the details at pikespaceneedleipa.com. And that is the brew news this week.
Welcome back to Northwest Brew Talk. If you want to submit news to Northwest Brew Talk, feel free to send us an email to nwbrewtalk@gmail.com. If you've not yet subscribed to our podcast, why not do it now? It's free, available anywhere you listen to podcasts, including iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, and TuneIn Radio.
Okay, on this week's Micro Homebrew interview, we're talking to the owners of Lopez Island Brewing and also Lumberjack Brewing. So we'll be right back after those interviews. All right, we're talking with Michael from Lopez Island Brewing. And Lopez Island, where is that located?
We're up in the San Juan Islands, up in the north part of Puget Sound.
Okay. You're the only brewery in that area?
There's another brewery on Orcas Island called Island Hoppin'.
Okay, so there's a couple of you in that area then?
Yes.
All right, so you guys just opened last year, August, right?
Actually, we didn't even start selling beer until about Halloween of last year.
Oh, okay. So you haven't been open that long, 8 months here.
Yeah.
So what was the impetus to start a brewery?
After home brewing for almost 30 years, and not having a brewery here on the island, and people wanting, a gathering place and whatnot, it was kind of like, this is my retirement gig. Let's start a brewery.
Okay. That makes sense. 30 years is a long time. So what's how many gallons were you brewing when you were doing home brewing?
I was home brewing on a 10-gallon system.
Okay.
It was a system I had designed and built as a gravity-fed system, and I'm basically commercially brewing on that right now. We're working on putting in a 10-barrel system. We're about probably 6 months away from getting that up and running.
But you're still brewing on your 10-gallon?
I am.
Holy,
1/3 barrel system.
Holy cow! So are you brewing quite a bit?
Yeah. At least 3 times a week, and we're putting out about a barrel a week, 22 ounces, and we're at present we're only doing a pale ale.
Okay.
We're working on an American Summer Wheat and an IPA here pretty soon.
Okay. So things are going well enough to upgrade to a 10 barrel then, huh?
Yeah. Everybody wants beer on tap in all the restaurants here on the island. And at present, I'm not able to do keg beer, but I am doing the corny kegs and a kegerator for events on the island, and doing one for a 60th birthday party this weekend. We're working on scaling up.
Okay, awesome. So you live on Lopez Island, so it was just a matter of there's not a brewery here. People want some fresh beer, and that's pretty much the reason why you wanted to start that, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So what kind of beers do you like to brew?
I've been brewing a pretty good pale ale for a long time. I've got a good American Summer Wheat. I've done some IPAs, some stouts. I'm all over the board with that.
Okay. And when you're drinking beer, what do you like to drink?
Well, I'm adventurous that way, my box and whatever sounds good at the moment.
Okay.
But I always like to compare a pale ale to what I'm brewing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you like to try somebody else's to see what it's like?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So when you get your 10 barrel in, you said like 6 months away from now?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to do a full variety of styles then?
Yeah, that's what we're going to work on. We're going to open up a tasting room down in Lopez Village and have a good variety of brew styles.
Okay, so you have a tasting room now?
No, we don't at present. My brewery is actually on our property, and the zoning says we can't have a tasting room here. And so we'll open up one down in the village. Okay,
so how do you do your sales right now then?
We're actually just wholesaling to the restaurants and the grocery stores here on the island.
Oh, okay. So you guys are probably one of the smallest ones we've talked to.
We are probably the smallest nano brewery in Washington.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few half barrels and stuff, but you guys sound like you're, at this point, pretty small.
Yep.
So you're doing this 3 times a week. Do you still have your full-time job, or is this what you're doing now?
This is what I'm doing.
Okay.
This is what I'm doing. And the other 3.5 days of the week, I'm doing cellar work. Racking stuff over into secondaries to dry hop and bottling and packaging and delivering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's So when you do you have a location for your tasting room?
We haven't actually decided on one place yet. We're kind of keeping that open at the moment. There's about 3 or 4 places that may become available.
Okay.
But we're going to try and find a really good spot that's in between the marinas and the grocery store.
Okay. So when you do that, it's got to be big enough to hold your 10 barrel too, then, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
What type? Well, let's see. You're going to do like a pale ale. You're going to do an IPA, a stout, your wheat beer. You said you're adventurous. When you try beer, are you going to be adventurous when you're brewing beer?
Oh, absolutely. I'm a big fan. I like German style lagers and the Oktoberfests and some other seasonal kind of beers.
Okay.
I've got a good Belgian that I'm looking forward to doing that with a cork and a wire basket and all that stuff.
All right, that's very cool. So, 30 years of home brewing. Have you entered competitions before?
Just the local one here on the island. We usually have about 24 different beers on tap, and I've won that one a couple of times, and but I haven't really ventured out there. I got into the best of the craft beers down in Oregon this last fall, and I didn't score well, but I was going up against all the other big craft brewers.
Sure. But did you get Did you get some good feedback from it?
I did. I
Yeah.
did. They critiqued it, very brutally.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes that hurts too.
Yeah.
I know. It's like anything. It's like your show here. You get it's your baby, and when somebody isn't favorable to something, you take it personally.
Well, it was good feedback, and
Yeah.
I'll go from there.
Yeah. So now, when you brew, you say you like different styles and experimenting. But when you do certain things, do you like to brew to style?
Oh yeah, I like to stick to the classic stuff.
Okay.
It's tried and true. That's been around for hundreds of years. You can't go wrong.
Right. Right. Have you done any type of fruits or anything like that in any of your beers?
The Belgian, I throw some raisins in that, and my American summer wheat's got Tangelo peel and stuff. So yeah, I'm not adverse to reaching out there and trying new things.
Okay, very cool. So what you think? Okay, you said this already. You alluded to it. So, like a lot of the smaller breweries, you're going to look at making Lopez Island like the local hangout where people can come and get a fresh pint and like a gathering place. Then, right?
You betcha.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Yeah, that seems to be where it's either you're going to be you're going for mass distribution or you're going to be the local tavern, and it's pretty much where they seem to be settling on for the most part in the state.
Yeah. I mean, think local, drink local, and hopefully I'll be able to distribute to all the other islands, growlers to go, and stuff out of the dock stores and the grocery stores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you bottle now, right? That's how you get in the stores?
Yeah. I'm just doing 22 ounces right now.
Right. But is that going to be something once you got the 10 barrel going, you're going to look at doing more distribution that way?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that when you got the beer system going and you got a lot of beers, brewing there, we'll have to talk again and see how things are going.
Absolutely. Look forward to it.
Awesome. Well, Michael, thanks very much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you, Mike.
Lumberjack Brewing, you guys opened up just over a year ago now in May of 2015, right?
That's correct.
So what made you guys decide that you wanted to start a brewery?
My husband and I have been brewing for a little over 10 years. We started with a Mr. Brew home kit and then, never really stopped through our college years. We had a little system that we took with us to each one of our apartments in our college days. We made finding an apartment really fun.
Sure.
And we would just brew, and a lot of our friends loved our beer, and so they said, you need to sell this to me. I don't want to just keep taking it from you. So we looked into filing a license once we found a location, which is my old childhood home, actually.
Okay. So
kind of emptied our workshop and built it into a brewery.
Okay. So that's a common theme for a lot of people. You brew beer at home and everybody loves it, and they say they want you to do it, but it's not like American Idol where everybody tells you you're a great singer when you're really not, right?
Exactly. I mean, they're not going to drink bad beer over and over again.
So what kind of beers were you guys brewing when you were home brewing?
Well, we started with malt extract brewing, which I think is where most folks start.
Sure.
And that's kind of like the pro-V level, and then you work your way up from there. And we went into malt extract probably this right after Christmas, the first year we got it. We did that for about 2 years, and then we got into all grain brewing.
Okay.
And that's kind of when we had upgraded into our college days. And then when we got into all grain, we started with some kegs that we converted into a brew house. So brew the 15-gallon batch of beer each time.
Sure.
And we did all kinds of different varieties. I mean, anything that sparked our interest. Most of it was what was hot at the time or what our taste buds wanted. So a lot of it for me was the light stuff. For my husband, it was always an IPA or something really unique.
Sure.
And you can't really, recently, I don't know if you've noticed, but IPAs have become really saturated in the market.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And it was really frustrating for us as homebrewers because, my husband likes IPAs, but that's all you can go and get at the store.
Right.
Unless you go to a brewery. And so when we launched our brewery, we knew we wanted to make sure that we didn't just offer IPAs. And so when we first launched, we didn't even have an IPA except for our Tree Spike. And it's a traditional or non-traditional IPA. It's more of a transitional IPA.
Okay.
It's very light, more caramely than a standard IPA, less hoppy than a standard IPA, but it's still served as an IPA.
Okay.
So when we first launched, and we did that for, over half of a year. We only did one IPA, and it was a soft one. We did that intentionally. A lot of them were pale ales, ambers, Scotch ales. Let's see here. We haven't been able to do any lagers because we don't have a lager run yet.
Sure.
But we're going to soon.
Oh, okay, great. So is your pale ale a hoppy pale ale, or is it more of a milder one?
Most of our beers are a little bit more mild. We don't focus hard on hops because we focus on a well-balanced beer. So we want hops to be there, but we want it to be well complemented with the malt that it's paired with. So we try really hard to make it a clean beer, is what we call it.
Sure. Yeah, that's because there's a lot of times you taste pale ales and you could swear that they were IPAs the way that they're brewed.
Yes, we stick to the traditions on the pale ale side of things.
Okay, very cool. So you had your version of an IPA for, you said, like the first half year that you were open, huh?
Yeah, and Tree Spike is actually our one trademarked beer. So Tree Spike IPA is the one beer that we've actually tried pushing in the industry, but it was the only IPA, and it's a really soft IPA. So we've noticed a lot of these country folks that we serve can actually palate it because it's not overly hoppy.
Right.
We're not in the city, so I have to cater to the folks that drink Coors Light and Miller's Light all day,
right,
but still want a good craft beer instead of that junk.
So you find that... I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just tried to make it so that everybody could drink it instead of just the crafties.
Right. Have you found that is a good transition beer then?
Yeah, we call it our transitional IPA. That's basically its nickname besides Tree Spike as its true name. Okay.
So it's just because it's not too hoppy, but you get some good flavor out of it. People who are drinking the other watered down mega beers find that they can drink that then, huh?
Yeah, a lot of folks say they don't like IPAs, but when they've left after trying our Tree Spike, that's the one that's in their growler.
Well, that's good. So how many different beers do you guys brew now on a regular basis?
On a regular basis, I would say we've probably got about 5 standard beers, but we almost always have 8 beers on tap. Okay. So the 5 standards kind of range in the color values. So we've got our pale, our IPA, our amber, a Scotch, and then we have a dark beer, which ranges either from our oatmeal stout, which we call the UMAD brew, or our porter, which is more of a summer thing. So we're going to start doing that soon.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. We were just talking with another brewery not too long ago, and the dark heavy beers used to be winter beers, and they aren't anymore. They're pretty much all year beers.
That's right. You can make them all year beers. It just depends on how you brew them. You know, you can make them a little lighter. You don't have to make them taste like chocolate and coffee every time. They can be a lighter version of that. So, and like our brown ale is really popular in the summertime. It's not quite as heavy. I call it my camping beer. I take it with me camping.
Okay. So you guys had the original IPA, but you've come out with a Northwest style IPA since then?
Yeah, we have 2 varieties, I would say. We have a double IPA, and then we also have the Swede IPA. And they're both just standard IPAs, but they're more along the traditional line of an IPA, meaning hopped up, but still well balanced.
So when you guys are brewing, you both brew, right?
I'm more of the gopher. My husband is the brains behind the game. Okay, so he actually has an assistant brewer that works with him a lot more now. I'm shifting more into the CEO side of things, running the paperwork, running the show. Oh, okay. Okay, very cool. Now, when you guys are working on a beer, do you try to stay to style? Is that how you guys like to brew? We always try to brew our first round to style, and then when we get the product, the finished product, we taste it and we see where we can go with it. We like to stray out of the box. I do not think that Lumberjack is necessarily a brewery that fits in a box. We like to try new things. We like to try different things, Like right now, our favorite and most popular is our jalapeno pale ale. A lot of folks aren't doing peppers and beers, and we've mastered it. A lot of people love our jalapeno. We can't keep it on tap.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
So,
is it a spicy beer?
It is. It can be. It depends. It depends on the time of year that you get it and the type of jalapenos that go in it. So we initially started it, we're self-reliant farmers. So we grow our own crops and try and live off the land. And a lot of the stuff that we grow, we try to integrate into our beer. So jalapenos, we have a blackberry IPA that we're going to try this year. We do stuff with plums and all the different types of products that you get from a farm. We're also growing our own hops. So we do like fresh hop releases that are seasonal.
Oh, nice.
But so yeah, we like to play with our stuff. But eventually, like our long-term goal is to become a farmhouse brewery where we grow our own stuff, we malt our own grains and all that kind of stuff, and we kind of want to handle it all ourselves.
Nice. That's interesting.
It's nice to know where things are coming from. These days, you never know. So we're trying to go green as much as we can.
Yeah, that's a very cool idea. So, I know you said something about you were trying to get your first IPA out in the market. So were you bottling that, or was that just keg-wise?
Just keg-wise. Right now, we're so small. We're just a one-barrel brewery, so we can barely produce enough beer to serve our tap house on a Saturday. We basically pour out all of our beer on a Saturday.
Oh, really?
And that's with us not distributing at all. But right now, we're actually in the middle of upgrading our facility. We are transitioning into a 2-barrel brew house, and we're shifting our tap house into a bigger portion of our barn.
Oh, nice.
So it'll be probably a little bit bigger than it was before, but we'll have more accommodations with TVs and more fun for the folks. Sure.
So you're open just Saturdays now?
Just Saturdays, and we plan on staying that way just because we're so rural, and we have a lot of neighbors.
Right.
So we're going to stay just Saturdays, but we're going to up our distribution. So Maple Valley will soon see a heavy hit from us, as well as Seattle. We've got 3 accounts in Seattle that we plan on going through pretty routinely, the Fixed Coffee House being the main one.
Okay, nice. So what beer do you ship there?
Well, we had 5 beers there last time we went. We did a big event, but most of the time we have about 2 to 3 styles that we send to him. He was going to be a business partner of ours a long time ago before we launched the business, but then he got into food, and now he's the head chef there. So we've kind of got a foot in with him and his family because he's a member of the family there.
Oh, okay, nice. Okay, that's very cool. So how many days a week are you brewing then?
We brew anywhere from 2 to 4 times a week.
Okay. And is it just one brew per day, or is it multiple brews?
Sometimes 2 times a day. We like to double batch. So if my husband gets home from his day job on a Friday kind of early, he'll brew, and then Saturday morning before we open, we'll brew again the same beer and double batch it.
Okay.
If he doesn't have Friday nights, sometimes he'll do a double batch on Saturdays, but that's very rare because we work Saturdays as well.
Oh, okay. So, yeah.
So we try to double batch as often as we have energy to.
Right. Do you work full-time job also?
My full-time job is our daughter and garden, which is basically, we've done the math. It saves us basically me having to work to stay home and garden and take care of the kids.
Yeah, no, believe me.
Financially.
I understand it's a full-time job. My wife does it too. Well, that's very cool. There are quite a few small breweries that are open, like you guys, just one day a week, and they're able to get out there. They get their stuff into the market. People know who they are. Some of them, I think, is their social media too. They push it so people always have them in their head. But is that something
Lately, I haven't been marketing really because, like I said, we pour out all of our beer on Saturday. So if I were to market, which I just did, we did a Groupon recently.
Oh, really?
And we sold like 500 units in a week, which is outstanding and pretty insane. So we got a little blown up in a week.
Sure.
It's been intense at the brewery now, but we love it.
Did you get a lot of new customers from that?
Yeah, and that's the best part. We catered it towards crafties in our area, but also in like the Seattle area, folks that know a little bit about the craft industry and want a good craft beer is kind of who we targeted.
Nice. Well, that's
and then that went crazy. We had to shut it down.
Yeah, I believe it. Oh, that's cool. And sometimes those things are hit and miss, whether it works out for you or not. It sounds like it did for you guys, though.
Yeah, it worked out great for us. We loved it.
Okay, so you're going up to a 3-barrel brewery. You're going to be able to pump out some more beer.
Yeah.
What is your goal? 1 year you've been open. Have you met or exceeded what you thought you would be doing up to this point?
I believe we've met and almost exceeded in some ways. We're expanding a lot faster than we thought we would. We did have a lot of plans. We have our business plan, which is in a tiered 3-phase program. So we've got the first phase that we're in right now. We beat that kind of by a year and a half.
Okay.
And by 3 years, we are planning on moving into our second phase.
Wow.
Upgrading into a brew house.
Nice.
That's got, not just the brew facility, but perhaps food. So a year and a half is where we're almost at right now. I'd say we're right on par. By 3 years, we want to transition into a facility that will house everything except for our brewing. We always want to keep our brewing at our current place because of the water.
Oh, okay.
Can't beat the water.
So you've got good water. You don't do any treatment to the water?
We have a well that we work from, and it's right off the Cedar River watershed.
Okay.
So you can't get any cleaner water.
Sure. But then if you take your tap room out of there, then you'd have more room to expand your brew house then too. If you went up to a larger brewery.
Exactly.
Yeah. All
That's
right.
kind of what we're anticipating. So once we have a facility, then we'll work on integrating food.
Mm-hmm.
Once food is integrated, then we're going to work on focusing on the farmhouse side of things, try to find property in Yakima, try to start establishing crops that we want to start growing, and then move into creating a couple different hubs. We want to go most of the West Coast is what we want to play with.
Okay. So you're
probably not beyond that.
Right. So you've got some lofty goals there.
We've got some goals.
Yeah. That's
We're young. We can do it.
Sure. That's awesome. So after 10 years of homebrewing, you guys must have felt that you had it down pretty well, right?
We had such a large, buildup of recipes that were all pretty much pre-approved by all the people that we let drink our beers.
Mm-hmm.
So we knew we had at least 8 solid beers, which is how many we wanted to roll out with.
Right.
Because that's how many taps we had. So we knew before we even filed paperwork that we had a solid product. And then when we figured out we had a solid product, we enrolled in Portland State University, and that it's not teaching you how to do beer, it's teaching you how to run a brewery.
Yep.
So that was a really, really fabulous program. We call it our Yellow Brick Road. It definitely helped us get where we are.
Yeah, that is, I think, a major stumbling block for a lot of people that are home brewers. Maybe they have great beer, but they really have no idea how to run a business, and that is, in the end, a brewery's a business, and whether you want to make.
And there's a lot of legalities with it too, because you're working with liquor, so It's just a little harder to navigate, and they don't really spell it out in any books or anything like that. You have to take a class.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be like 2 more years on top of the 2 years it took.
Yeah.
To file.
Exactly. Yeah. All the paperwork and inspections and everything. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
People don't quite understand that. That's why we have a series we've been running for 2 months now with Figurehead Brewing out of Seattle. They're not open yet, and every 2 weeks we talk to them to see where they are in their process, and that's been a good thing. It's been a good thing for them too, because it keeps them moving, but it every time it's like, oh, you know what, we didn't know this had to take place, or we didn't know this was going to, or we didn't know that we could do this. So it's
and it's like the sequential order you have to go in. Sometimes you have to back up just to get back to where you need to go.
Yeah.
And that's kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
And I feel like the government doesn't have it all figured out yet either, so that makes it a little back and forth even more, I'd say.
Well, exactly. And in the state with over 300 breweries, even though there's so many, you think that they would know what's going on. I think it happened so fast that they didn't have time to prepare for it.
And all the different, different laws regionally, like city, county, each one has their own thing.
Yep, exactly.
We're unincorporated King County, so that made it a little different and a little easier for us.
Right.
But, being in the city, you have to be approved by the city folk, and there's a lot more regulation that way.
Yeah, definitely. So what have you guys consider doing any competitions with your beers?
We'd love to. Right now, it's just a matter of stock. I don't have anything that I can send out of my brew house. We make our money on a pint. I don't make my money on kegs, so I pulled back distribution just because we're trying to grow right now.
Right.
And I need to make as much as I can to grow.
Right.
So we're really, really, really close. We've been hand building all of our own furniture. We build all of our own wood.
Nice.
When I say we're green, we're officially green. We do it all the best that we can.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it's going to look really rad. We're making our own taster trays. We're making our own tap handles. It's all legitimate.
Yeah, that's very cool. So what do you think up to this point has been your greatest challenge then?
That's a good question. I have not been asked that one. I think rapid growth has been my biggest issue. I mean, paperwork is a hassle, but you can get through that, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you don't know what's coming at you and you don't know, when it's going to change, like when you introduced a group on that changed things quickly.
Yeah.
We had about 25 people more per day show up, and when you have about 40 people show up on average, that says something. It changes a lot. So being flexible, I think, is probably because there's a lot of expectation out there. A lot of people have really high, lofty expectations.
Right.
So living up to those, I would say, has been the most difficult part so far. But it's a challenge that we like.
Oh, nice. Very cool. So I'll give you one more before I let you go then. What would you be doing if you weren't brewing beer?
Oh, gosh. Not anything very happy, I'd say. I have no clue, to tell you the truth. Surviving.
Yeah.
That would probably be surviving.
Yeah.
I was definitely not made for the tech supporty world.
No.
Put it that way.
Goodness. I can't believe that anybody
I worked in that for 3 years.
Yeah, I know.
It was horrible.
I know. I was in IT for 13.
Oh my gosh! Wow, you did it, my friend. You did it.
Yeah, I know. All right. Well, Melissa from Lumberjack Brewing, thanks very much for talking with us today. Appreciate it, and good luck on your growth.
Thank you to the owners of Lopez Island and Lumberjack Brewing for joining us today. Appreciate that.
If you are a homebrewer looking for a great shop to buy your homebrew ingredients and equipment, why don't you check out Micro Homebrew in Kenmore? Tony and his staff are always happy to help a new or experienced homebrewer find what they need. At Micro Homebrew, they're proud to carry over 100 hop varieties. Visit them today at 17511 68th Avenue Northeast in Kenmore, or find them on Facebook at Micro Homebrew. When you stop in, make sure you tell them you heard about them on Northwest Brew Talk.
That's right. And I was impressed by the number of hops that they do have in their cooler.
Yeah, that's a crazy amount.
It is. And they're nice guys, so definitely check them out if you live in that area. And we'll be right back after a music break from my good friend, Gilbert Neal.
Where the band was made to stay, and they lived at my beck and call, no matter the time of day. Elegance and innocence, when I turn the knob their way, and they'd sing the crazy songs they're never gonna sing again. And every day was sunshine, and under my covers at night they'd bring happiness and peace, and even If I tell him to take it slow, little people in the radio, it's strange, yes I know. Little people in the radio. If I tell him to take it slow, little people in the radio, it's strange, yes I know. Little people in the radio. If I tell him to take it slow, little people in the radio, it's strange, yes I know. Little people in the radio. If I tell him to take it slow, little people in the radio, it's strange, yes I know. Little people in the
That was 4 Chords from Gilbert Neal's upcoming CD, The Mayor of Estes Park. You can check him out at gilbertneal.com. He also does our theme music.
That's right.
If you want to have your music played on Northwest Brew Talk, contact us today. And now let's try our second beer this evening was gifted to us from Ghostfish Brewing, located in Seattle. You should listen to our interview with them on episode 61. They're open 7 days a week and are family friendly, and their beers are all gluten-free. We're drinking their Watchstander Stout. It has been a long, dark time for those thirsting for a gluten-free stout. But behold, a new light blazes, and from that light comes darkness. This rich and roasty ale is made from 5 different roasts of artisan gluten-free millet and malt for complex yet satisfying true stout flavor. Now everyone can walk safely through beer's shadowy side, thanks to the Watchstander. 5.5% ABV, 40 IBUs, and an untapped rating of 3.45.
They give a great overview of how their beers are made, all of these, how the different millets and all that stuff. It's real good. Listen to that interview.
That was absolutely. I mean, I usually like almost all of our interviews. They're all great, but that was a fun time we had there with them.
Yep. Now, this is a dark one, but you can still see a little light through it. It's got a nice little head on it.
Nice.
Got a dark smell to it. A stouty smell.
Yeah, I love the flavor. I mean, anybody that listens to the show will know that chances are I'm going to like this one a lot.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, we've talked about it before. They said like 80% of their customers aren't even gluten-free.
Which is awesome. I mean, that's what you'd want. You wouldn't want to just be in the market of people that are gluten-free, although it seems like there's a lot of them nowadays. You want your beers to be good enough that somebody who doesn't have to drink a gluten-free beer will still enjoy it, and that's absolutely the case with us.
Yeah, and this is, well, obviously for us, yes, but this is good beer. I mean, it just is beer, period. You know, it just happens to be gluten-free.
Yep. Yeah,
made
absolutely
without wheat and barley. You know?
Exactly.
But it's good.
I like that one a lot.
It's good stuff. It's got a nice flavor to it. As we've, if you've listened to our show, you know it's not my favorite style, but it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good. Roasty, chocolatey, you know, the dark. You know, it's got all of the characteristics and flavors of a good stout. And she seems to agree.
Well, she won't know till later.
She won't know till later, of course. But anyhow, yep, that's a good beer.
I want you to give me fresh beer. You serious?
This week's Spotlight Indie Beer release is the Rude Awakening IPA by Old Schoolhouse Brewery, located in Winthrop. Big, bold American IPA with a blend of piney, citrusy, and floral Pacific Northwest hops that completely overwhelm its medium malt body. This is their signature beer named after Evan Rude, the first hophead in their family. 8% ABV, 75 IBUs, and an untapped rating of 3.86.
And that signals the end of this episode of Northwest Brew Talk.
Make sure you tune in next week when we chat with Chief Springfire and Irons Brew Pub.
Thanks to our sponsor, Micro Homebrew. This show is written and produced by Michelle Rizzo and myself.
If you'd like to contact us, send us an email to nwbrewtalk@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at nwbrewtalk. Our theme music is from Gilbert Neal. Feel free to check him out at gilbertneal.com.
Until next time, I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Michelle Rizzo.
Stay hoppy, my friends. That was the longest story we've ever done.
I don't know about ever. It was quite long. It's got to be up there.